Welcome to Chess to Impress, and today we're going to talk about how to checkmate with a king and a queen. It's white to move and checkmate the black king. The correct move, of course, is to play queen to b7. If you play your queen to b7, the black king will have no escape squares, and that will result in a checkmate. This is the final position you are looking for when trying to checkmate your opponent with a king and a queen. You must get your opponent's king stuck on a wall, which means either on the 8th rank or the 1st rank, or on the H file, or on the A file. And you must always put your king right on top of your opponent's king, and you must have your own king as a backup for your queen, right? The queen sits on top of your opponent's king, and your queen should always be defended by your king. This is what a typical king and a queen checkmate should look like. Let's take a look at position number two. And we have to use the knight's move away technique to checkmate the black king. In this technique, you always put your queen a knight's move away from the king. This causes their king to be automatically pushed towards the walls. So where do we put our queen at a knight's distance away? The first move is queen to e3. Let's assume their king goes to f6. Again, we keep on moving our queen at a knight's distance away from our opponent's king. If they go king g5, again, the king needs to be at a knight's distance away. I know it's white to play and the queen is already at a knight's distance away, but we can play a move like queen to f3, right? Moving our queen at a knight's distance away. Keep following the procedure until the king reaches the wall. Now that the king is stripped on the wall, you do not move your queen in order to avoid stalemate ideas, right? Once the king reaches the wall, stop moving your queen once and for all. Start moving your king. Bring in your own king for backup. So you play a move like king e3. You play a move like king f4. You do not bring your king on top of your queen because then the king can escape, right? If the queen controls the entire g file, do not move the king on the g file. Just maintain the king on the f file. So we moved king f5. Yes, bring your king, keep bringing your king closer to your opponent's king, and we have reached this position. This position is exactly what we saw in position number one, right? The king is there to back up our queen, which means we simply play the move queen g7, put our queen right on top of their king, right? And this queen has a backup in the form of our king. All right. One big thing to avoid when trying to do a king and a queen mate is getting your opponent in a stalemate. A stalemate is when you have no legal moves, but you're not in check. Since you cannot be in a checkmate if you are not in a check and you have nowhere to move, that position would be a draw. What two moves would create a stalemate for black, right? It is very important to avoid moves like queen g6, right? When the king is on the edge of the board, on the corner and on the edge, never move your queen at a knight's distance away. If you play a move like queen g6, or for that matter, if you play a move like queen f7, this would result in a checkmate. The king has no legal squares to go and it's black's turn to play. So instead, what we should do is if the king is stuck on a wall, maybe try to move your queen as away as you can, right? The king will be now stuck on the 8th rank, and this queen disallows the king from going on the 7th. Now that you know that this is done, simply start moving your king so that you can use your king as a backup. Avoid moves like queen f7 or queen g6. Do not play the knight's move away technique too far. Only do it until the king reaches the last rank and then slide your queen to one of these spots so that the king has some squares to go, and then bring your king as a backup. All right, position number four. Find the best move for white. It is so easy now. The king is stuck on the 8th rank, which means we should disallow the king from going to the 7th. So what do? We cover the entire 7th rank with our queen. Right now the king can only dance on the 8th rank. If the king starts dancing on the 8th, bring your king closer because you need to use your king as a backup, and Put your queen, slide your queen right on top of their king. This should result in a checkmate. And position number five, right, super easy. All we need to do is capture all those pawns with our queen and eventually checkmate the king, right? So yeah, we just capture all of them one by one. Again, some basic stuff, right? Yeah, we capture all of it. And finally, yes, we capture the last remaining pawn and move the queen at a nice distance away. Then start bringing your king in and put your queen on top of their king. Game over. All right, so follow the knight's move away technique and make sure you do not stalemate your opponent's king. Thank you.